Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. I'm joined by my co host down from the South, also getting pissed off at the live now stream of Rising 34, Jay Christian Gary from Focus Fights.
Hey y'all, how's it going? I mean, to be honest, at least this stream isn't supposed to be like March Madness. Otherwise, all of our, just like the March Madness brackets, we'd all be pissed off right now. But still, enough about live now. We're here to talk Jiu-Jitsu. We're here to talk about Art Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the fact that they have two shows coming up. And one of those people that we're going to be talking to is a jiu-jitsu ace and a former, well, not former, because he described this before we got on. He's a current active duty member of the United States Air Force. He is Seth Sarrett. How are you, sir?
What's going on? I'm doing good.
Yes, just to clarify, because there's two shows going on the same day, March 26th at the Gen Sports Palace. You're going to be on Art Challenge 1 taking on Minoru Taniguchi. You'll be representing Uprising Jiu-Jitsu, Purple Adult Super Heavyweight Division. Seth, first of all, from Chris and I, thank you very much for your service, good sir, for all that you do for the Air Force. Talk to us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How did you get into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, man. I moved to Japan in 2016, like November, and I was into MMA and doing fight stuff. I mean, I do combatives for the military as well, but I didn't start sport jiu-jitsu until I moved here. I met Rodrigo Taniguchi. So he's the instructor for Uprising, and they're under Axis, which is headquarters is in Setagaya. And Takamasa Watanabe is the black belt under Hickson Gracie. So it's like it's official, like affiliated, everything. We can do tournaments and sign up under our name. But yeah, training, like that's where I was today. I was training at Axis under Master Taka. And once I met Rodrigo, I was like, "You're the man. Like, I want to start this stuff." And so after I started sport jiu-jitsu with a gi, it was basically the next week they said, "Oh, there's tournaments like in Tokyo." I was like, "Game on." So since November of 16, I've been basically competing in Japan, and I've done a few other tournaments all over, like the Copa de Bangkok, some Naga. I was in the East Coast in 2018, so I did like some Naga once, and then IBJJF tournaments, and some US grappling. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite tournaments I did. I'm trying to push for more of it's no time limit, no points, submission only.
Oh, so basically EBI rules, kind of, almost.
Except no time limit. I watch matches go 55 minutes.
So no time. Oh my god. Oh, okay. So that's like old school, like that's like a Sakuraba Hoist Gracie MMA match type rules.
Yeah, man. And Bagels is under I think he's with like Toro and some, but yeah, that was all East Coast stuff. And so I've been competing all around. And then since COVID happened, it's been restricted mostly to Japan, and the tournaments have been like kind of hit or miss. They're basically coming back online, and now the ASJJF, which is under a guy named Kagura, Edison Kagura. He's the one who runs Dumao, but he's the one who started these art challenges, and so he did one a while ago, but it was like the pro matches only, like invite, and then this one coming up this Saturday. It was basically amateurs. You could sign up and like pay your entry fee, and he would find an opponent for you. And that's the bracket, like the one I'm in is the Art 1, and then directly after that is the invite fights. So it's just started. It's the second one he's held, but yeah, he's always trying to promote jiu-jitsu, and Corona hit their tournaments pretty hard. There was like 4 or 5 tournaments I was signed up for that didn't happen, and just had to push the members, the signups for a while, but it's coming back online now. There's quite a bit more, as you guys know, with Rizin as well.
I know that jiu-jitsu here in the United States was definitely hit, especially in the New York area, because there was a time when there was a 6 feet social distancing thing, and you had to wear masks and things, and like, how do you do that in a jiu-jitsu setting? It's not possible. You can't. When you said, sorry, question, when you said you did Naga, were you doing Naga in California? Were you doing like the travel?
I did a one Naga in Baltimore. It wasn't California, it was on the East Coast. It was up in the DC
Oh,
area.
okay.
And then actually I think I did two there. In Philadelphia and Baltimore, and then I also did one in Honolulu at the Radford High School.
So you got it. So
To be clear, and I hate to interrupt, Andrew, but are you originally from the East Coast of the United States?
No, I was born in Oregon.
Oh,
Um,
apology. I mean, our apologies.
no, I was working in DC. So I was like I was working there for about 8 months, but then I was finding gyms all over. There was a team that started, like, I think I was one of their official team members, the High Style Jiu-Jitsu. They're out of like straight up downtown DC.
Oh,
And
okay.
I mean, you can imagine with a name like High Style what they're into, but they the guys that ran it were also referees for the US grappling tournaments, and that's how I got linked up with them. And basically they turned me on to a bunch of different kind of in-house tournaments, super good jiu-jitsu vibe, and there were some tough competitors. It was a different game than I was used to coming from Japan. Japan's a lot of like old school, like Hicks and Gracie smash pass, like more traditional Gracie jiu-jitsu. Whereas if you go a lot of the East Coast guys, they're into the bear and bull, like more like start leg locking. There's different games. Yeah, exactly. It's I learned a whole different like style of jiu-jitsu really with those guys too, and it was good. So pretty much every place I go, I learned a little bit new style, and it's pretty good time to be in jiu-jitsu now because there's so much of it everywhere.
So did you decide to devote your time, your time and energy to jiu-jitsu more full time when you got to Japan?
I was never really into jiu-jitsu. I was into, like, I think I did, like, Mac P. You ever heard of that?
Why does that sound familiar? Mac P. Why have I've heard that
Because
before.
the Gracie brothers out of Torrance, the Gracie University, Henner and what's his brother's name?
Uh, Henner
Boy,
Gregor.
So, oh,
I'm trying to think. There's 1,000 Gracies. So there's what's the Rion, Renner,
Henner.
Rickson. Oh,
So but Henner, the sons of, I think, or either way, the Gracie University, the guys that run that, Henner and I don't know why I can't remember. Huron, there you go. Henner and Huron are the two brothers that run it, and they basically designed like a grappling program for the U.S. Army, and they sold their program to the Army, and they called it Modern Army Combatives, which is MACP. And so every base I've been at, we were instructors for it, and so we had fight gyms and stuff. We do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but it was a lot of like basically how to use jiu-jitsu to basically subdue your opponent kind of thing. So
gotcha.
How to not get killed and how to kill somebody else. So and the Army has, Fort Benning has like the MACP official school where they teach instructors and stuff there. So yeah, I've been into a little bit, but it was not like sport jiu-jitsu. Sport jiu-jitsu is a totally different game when you're talking about points and referee, different rule sets. It's totally different. So like I didn't start actual sport jiu-jitsu until I got here.
So what was it like? Because there's everybody is going. It seems like a lot of. What is it like as an older person getting into jiu-jitsu? Probably I don't know if you're the oldest person in your class, but or in your dojo, but like you're probably mostly everybody's probably like younger than you in their 20s, 30s. So like, what is it like? Starting at a older age.
I started just before I was 40, and like so I just turned 45, but I still compete in the adult brackets. So I mean, as far as like how I feel, I mean, I'd prefer to find stronger competition. So if when I go up to brown belt, I'm sure on my first competition I'll run back and scurry to my own age bracket first of all. But as I get better, more confident in that, then I would go back down to the adults. So once I moved up to purple and competing at the adult bracket in Japan, like I've lost a bit, but it was like the last year of being a blue belt, I never lost, and so it was time to move up to that next game. But I feel like the level of jiu-jitsu, regardless of age, in Tokyo is pretty good. There's some pretty strong competitors from every gym. So how do I feel? Like I feel fine. I compete with any age.
And so our challenge one, it's under it'll be in the gi IBJJF rules, which is for those that don't know, is basically no heel hooks allowed. I believe straight ankle locks and knee bars are allowed, and as well as chokes of the gi. You know, what are your thoughts on that, on gi versus no gi competition? Do you have a preference? When you signed up for this, sorry, I just want when you signed up for this, was it a choice between the two, or did the promoter pick for you? Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think with this one, the art one, it's only gi right now. There may be some no gi competitions coming up, and there's been some no gi invite tournaments around here, but most of the tournament brackets or the tournament signups, they're gonna have gi and no gi versions of it. But the no gi is just always so small. There may be one competitor, so I normally sign up under in the gi. I've done a few tournaments in around with no gi, but I've done maybe 3 or 4 when I've done probably 50 with the gi.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just not that many competitors. I prefer both actually. Like I enjoy no gi, just the control of the body that you have to learn, and I apply that in the gi. So I like to train both.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the competition, I think this one is only gi, and then it's just as a matter of numbers. I just look at which one has the most people. If there was enough people in no gi and gi, I would sign up for both.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, you know, what do you have any jujitsu? So like, so let's talk about this match against Minoru Taniguchi. Did you know your opponent at all? Have you ever competed against him?
Yeah, actually, no, I've competed against him twice now. So 2 years ago, we met as blue belts, and I submitted him in a Dumal tournament, and then last Sunday he beat me by points. So we're 1 for 1 now. So it'll be pretty fun.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. And also with the art challenge one, there's also points as well. So like, I mean, obviously you want to get a submission in this match, but like, is there ever a time where like, whenever you've competed, where like you feel like sometimes maybe points is the best way to win a fight, because to win a match, because sometimes, you know, if you're too aggressive in a jiu-jitsu match, you leave your neck open, you're guillotined, or your collar choked, or your clock choked. You know, is there ever a strategy that you go in before, when preparing for a match like this?
I mean, I go for submission, so sometimes I lose because of positioning, that I'm always trying for submission, and so sometimes I get like that's usually what I'm focusing for. So when I've lost by points usually.
Gotcha. Do you have a favorite submission, or like a favorite, a favorite way to finish your opponents?
I mean, I got pretty long arms, so it's different arm triangles, different angles, and leg triangles too. So front, back, leg triangles, and then different, arm in, arm out triangles from arm triangles basically.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, as a smart guy, arm triangles absolutely suck putting on, because I never know if I had them on, or if like, you know, if it's even on properly. So listen, hey, if you're a bigger guy, you know, arm triangles are like, I envy you. I envy you guys that can do them so easily and just don't even have to even fight to put it on.
Yeah, you
Um,
learn your own style, and that's definitely your own body type is a big part of that.
and so I'm curious to know, how long is the match? Is it 8 minutes, 10 minutes?
Honestly, somebody asked me last week, and I have no idea what the format's going to be for the Saturday.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, hopefully, you know, beforehand, because then you could prepare, cardio and all that good stuff, before the fight.
I'm fine for cardio. It's one match, and so even if it's a 10 or 15-minute match, I'm fine with that.
So like, do you still get nervous before a match? Or like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, you still get nervous. So what do you do? Like, what is it that you like? Do you have like do you do breathing techniques? Do you kind of just like listen to music beforehand? Is there a method to your attempt to calm yourself down?
Yeah, I just chill. I'm actually a pretty chill person. My issue was like the first match of like being able to start fast enough. Like I usually train kind of in the gym. Like I don't explode too much in the gym, and I usually roll with like friends, and so you're pretty chill. So
Mhm.
My problem is when I go into like a tournament, instead of just like going full speed from the beginning, which I should, I don't. I kind of like, no, let's just, high fives and start rolling kind of thing where I need to, biggest thing is I need to start exploding more in tournaments. But nervousness, it's like the nervous is why I do it. Like that excitement is why I started. I love competition. So it's the nervousness is the adrenaline, like anything before you go into any kind of like any match or any competition. That's what gets you excited for it. When you
Mhm.
stop getting excited, there's no reason for it to do it anyway.
As I apologize, Chris. I've been asking so many questions because I'm a jujitsu nerd. So I want to pass off to you so that you're not so that you are part of the conversation as well.
Oh, okay. I mean, I hope y'all didn't mind me. I mean, still though, all I gotta ask is basically two questions. One, considering the fact that you're an older guy taking up jujitsu, have you ever had the opportunity? I mean, because as Andrew and I were stating, we're both like, not only are we watching the same thing right now, Rizin 34, but we're basically big fans of the Rizin Fighting Federation. But as far as, mixed martial arts is concerned, have anybody ever looked at your jujitsu matches and thought maybe that you could have probably been in mixed martial arts as well?
Uh, Maybe. I mean, I did do a bit of fighting when I was younger, so like more small gloves and then boxing as well.
You mean like
But
tough man style?
yeah, pretty much. Like, there's a bunch of different versions of those that have been going on since the '90s. Back when I was in like high school and college time.
I see, I see. And as far as yourself being a martial artist is concerned, when you look at some of these fighters nowadays, especially in the worlds of not just jujitsu, the sport that you're a part of, but mixed martial arts and boxing, I mean, do you think that when it comes down to some of these fighters that just have massive egos, and I'm not going to name any names, basically to protect the ignorant, but when it comes down to some of these fighters that have egos, do you think that, if they were fighting, if they're fighting at your level, so to speak, that they would probably be the main ones getting their egos checked physically?
Oh yeah, I mean, and then jujitsu's and I mean, you guys have seen through fighting nowadays in the last like 20 years is a different game. Like professional fighters now are most of them are pretty well rounded. Like a lot of the guys in Japan or Rizin, even most of them are going to have pretty good ground games, so they do have some kind of jujitsu backgrounds. So a lot of the guys that are pretty, as far as like young and upcoming MMA guys that are a little overconfident, maybe. I mean, yeah, they're gonna get as soon as they get into the higher ranks of fighting, they're gonna get checked. I mean, you see that with every different, one championship, UFC, any of those. You see guys that are like, by the time they make it there, they've got to be pretty well rounded. So guys that are talking trash from the beginning, they get humbled. I mean, I experienced some of that in the gyms. That we'll have different guys come into the gym that are maybe a little bit cocky and yeah, try to settle their egos a little bit for them.
Right, right, of course, of course. And I guess that would probably disqualify me from asking what are your thoughts about celebrities getting into combat sports. But then again, I think that probably falls in that same category. Am I right or am I wrong?
I mean, a lot of the celebrities. I mean, there's even people I've rolled with that are their attitudes are usually pretty good. They do it because they know that it's something that they're not good at and they want to get better at it.
Understood, understood. Andrew, you got any more questions to ask?
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah. So it sounds like you're a fan of the Gracies, But I'm curious to know, are there any other jiu-jitsu guys who you like watch tapes of, or I don't know, instructionals or seminars? I don't know. Are you a fan of like anybody from DDS or I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know,
pretty
somebody?
much everybody in the DDS team of like, I mean, I have a couple of the actually I think I've one of the Gordon Ryan ones because he did like a free one if you put your name on there for service members, and so I was one of
Oh
the
yes,
few people
yeah,
that
he does that
selected.
all the time. Yeah, I forgot he does that all the time. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
so
about
I
that. Yeah.
got, but he also has like there's so much information that Gordon Ryan has put out just in like his Instagram or different breakdowns and stuff, and so a lot of just the straight science behind like John Danaher and anybody that he coaches or comes in contact, just like fight science as well as like anatomy and physiology of like the human body. It, I dig everything he says because most everything he says is it works and it can be applied, whether gi or no gi.
Mm-hmm.
So I like them. I like Eddie Bravo. I mean, there's pretty much every big name you can imagine. I try to watch with like flow grappling, but even different UFC stuffs, and then like Joe Rogan usually has a lot of different breakdowns and talks with a lot of people. So I mean,
Uh,
there's
yes, I'll
there's
go.
a also go ahead.
After you, sir. Sorry.
There's also gyms in Hawaii that I've gone to, and I've really, I mean, I grew up a bit of my life in Hawaii as well, and so there's
Hmm.
different gyms I'll go to there where there's people that are famous, but then there's people that are not really famous but are super good too because of just the amount of Gracie influence that's been in Hawaii. And like the the Boar's Nest up on the North Shore has like Buchecha is there pretty often. I know you probably know who Buchecha is.
Oh yes,
So
oh yes.
Marcos Almeida. But then there's Kybor Garcia, Leif, and then actually I got turned on to it by a friend of mine named Desi Miner. And he has his own gym now called Trilogy, but it's in Hawaii. But he used to be like an old school Romad black belt. And I just go wherever when I go to Hawaii, I call him up and be like, hey, where are you training? And there's another group, Day by Day Jiu Jitsu. There's AJ Mendoza. I don't know if you heard of any of these guys, but
I've heard it, but I'm not too familiar with like their backgrounds. I haven't watched a lot of their stuff, but I've in jujitsu circles, you hear names pop up all the time.
yeah, yeah. And so it's pretty close network in Hawaii. Like all the gyms are pretty good friends, and so I'll just whatever when I get on island, I either call up AJ or Desi and be like, "Where are we training tonight?" And there's like big boy Nogi clubs that are just kind of like invite only, and
Especially
yeah,
Hawaii,
yeah,
because you're
and
training
then
with Samoans and the Islanders, so it's probably like all heavyweights that are up there.
yeah, and then like because when I left Hawaii when I joined Air Force in 2000, like late 2000, there wasn't that much jujitsu per se, but since then, in like the last 20 years, it is ridiculous. Same as like DC or California, same as all over the world, really. Last 20 years, jujitsu has really taken the world by storm. So
Oh yeah, I definitely there's a lot of credit that I think goes to people like Craig Jones and Gordon
yeah,
Ryan, as well as talks of it being an Olympic sport as well. Certainly helped a lot of that as well. That certainly I think gave some major
some
recognition to
push.
jiu-jitsu. Yeah, a
Yeah,
push for it to be as a much a much more recognized sports. And with all the also with flow grappling and I mean UFC
oh,
also helps as
Seth
well.
and
um
Seth Daniels. I don't know if you know who Seth Daniels is the fight to win.
Fight to, oh yes, I fight to win as well. Yeah, that is also, yeah, because they put some crazy fights like this. I think this week they're having Couch. I think is it this week or last or I think it's this week. Couch and Gordon Ryan are having a match for
Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, definitely jiu-jitsu is a much more, it's definitely has gotten recognition that it never used to have. And I think, that's actually a very positive for a sport. And well, I guess here's another question I have for you. One of the big changes in the IBJJF was allowing heel hooks. For a long time, it was they were anti leg lock. It was no leg locks and especially no heel hooks. What do you think about them now? Finally, giving the okay to heel hooks.
Yeah, I mean, as long as people are training it correctly, that's the reason why it wasn't allowed for so long. Is it's so easy to go, like, the amount of pressure, and if you don't know how to apply it, you can injure somebody, and then vice versa. If you don't know it's being applied, and you can get hurt as well.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You know what I mean? Like the submitter and submittee kind of thing. So once it starts coming out there and people are training to it, then I think it's a good thing. It's just another progression. It's like, what does the Danaher say? It's the other half of the body.
Oh yes, yes. It's what was it?
Why ignore the other half of the body?
Yeah. As I think I'm trying to remember who was was it Tom the Boss or no it was oh no, not Tom the Boss. I forgot the guy who fought in Pride it was also in UFC like told him that as well.
Dean Lister.
Yeah, Dean Lister. That was Dean Lister who I think John Danaher went to a seminar and that's what Dean Lister told him. Why would you ignore the bottom half the body? And John Danaher was like, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Dean Lister is another monster. You see that guy in person, you realize like how large he actually is.
Oh yeah, that's why his foot locks hurt, because his arms are like the size of a caravan. What do you so after this match, you win this match, you put on a good performance. Do you hope that is there any chance that you can be invited get an invitation to the art invitation shows by any chance?
Oh yeah, I mean that's possible. I mean there's a few guys that know me around here, and it's just been trying to find opponents that are my size. So in Japan, that's the one issue, is this a size thing.
So when they say heavyweight, are we talking like true like over 200-pound heavyweights? Is that what they're defining as?
Yeah.
Heavyweight?
So this Saturday, I gotta be down to 100 kilograms with a gi. So it's like 220.
Oh, they weigh you with the gi on. They do that whole thing. Oh god, so they're going full IBJJF with that.
Yeah, most of the tournaments around here are you weigh in as you go to the mat. So it's not so New Breed and Naga were the two that I did. You could weigh in the day before.
Yes.
And those were pretty cool for me because, like, I mean, I can drop 5-10 pounds in a day and then put it back on. But if I usually drop it, I'm not in fighting condition for like another couple hours. So,
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, depending, like this last one this Saturday, that Taniguchi, like I won the open bracket, so I got gold in the absolute for the adult purple. But I was like 104, 105 with the gi. So what is that? Like 230, probably 230.
30, maybe 235 pounds.
Yeah, and that's with the gi. So right now I dropped, like I trained hard today this morning, and I'm down at like I'm weighing it at like 100.2 without the gi right now. So I just gotta drop another kilogram by next Saturday. So I'm all good.
Do you hope to eventually do like some Nogi matches for art as well?
Yeah.
Even if they're not invites.
They find somebody that wants to go, yeah, that I'm all for it. So I'll be pushing once I start, if I can get the whole, I just need to get better at jiu-jitsu. Once I start winning more and progress, bump up to the brown belt bracket in probably like a year or so, and then we'll see.
Have you ever cross-trained at one of the other jiu-jitsu gyms like Lotus, Setagaya, or like any other places? I'm just like,
well, Setagaya is where Axis headquarters is. That's where I was this morning.
Okay, well, have you ever got Kitooka's gym is I think in Setagaya, Satoru Kitooka, who runs Lotus.
Lotus. I've never been to Lotus gym, so there's a few, like I don't know if you've heard of Carpe Diem guys.
Very familiar. That's Irie. I think that's Irie's gym.
The guy who started it. They're a chain now. There's probably a few people that came from there. That Hissam Reda.
Yes. From South Africa, right? I think he's from South Africa.
Actually, Hissam Reda's from Cameroon.
That's it. Yeah, Cameroon.
Yeah, because he was like competing at like I think purple when I got here. Him and Thomas Metz. Thomas Metz was a brown, but then Thomas Metz got his black belt, and Hissam Reda has now blown up. Like because I think really when he did like a quintet and submitted like 3 dudes in a row that people were like, what the heck? And so he's had a lot of high profile matches since.
as his body type is like perfect for jiu-jitsu. He's a very tall, lanky guy. But I think he borders on heavyweight, maybe light heavyweight, but he's also just so limber and fast that like
He's also shredded. Like I've watched because I've watched. I mean, I competed at the same tournaments. Now he's in Detroit, but when he was living here, I'd see him all the time, and he's super cool dude. He'd be coaching people as well as competing, and he's fun to watch.
Mm.
There's another guy that I've watched that's still here is Igor Tanabe.
Oh yes, a fat ninja. Big fan of the fat ninja.
He's not fat though, but like he was competing when he was, I think he was the #1 juvenile in the world. When he was 17, he went to Vegas and then won juveniles. But he was competing against adults in the blue belt division when I started, when he was like 16, 17, and just crushing people. But yeah, he's a dude that's going to be up and cut. Like he's good. Reda Mabtouche now moved from Paris, is now at Carpe Diem, and so I've trained with him a few times in there. Another awesome dude. He's a black belt now.
I think didn't he have a match at Art or won the Arts? I think he had.
Maybe the last one. I didn't stick around for it. I did the tournament before it, and then I didn't wait for the pro matches.
One of the people that we also have talked to a bunch of times because he's an MMA fighter and also jiu-jitsu black belt. We talked to Grant Bogdanov as well. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Grant was there on Sunday. Yeah, Grant's brown. I think he's a brown belt now, but I think he's going to be competing in the next tournament as a black belt.
Oh, okay. Because I thought he was a black belt at this point because he has his own gym and all that stuff.
Yeah, Grant. I'm pretty sure he competed last Sunday in the brown belt division, but I think he's the black belt division now.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, by the way, as well, Grant Bogdanov, who we talked to, also having a match at, I think the second show.
BJJ too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's in the afternoon, like he's the next set. Yeah.
So what is it about?
He's a pretty chill dude. You've talked to him a few times.
Oh yes, and he's helped us as well be a translator for us for some of his fighters as well. So we're big fans.
Yeah, because he speaks pretty good Japanese too.
I mean, before the show, you spoke Japanese to us. Are you fluent in Japanese or have like some
enough? Yeah,
enough to order.
Bastante. Yeah,
enough to order food and drink. That's what I always like to say. That's
a little more than that.
Okay. Do you get coached in English or Japanese or both whenever you're competing?
Oh, coach. I mean, usually right, if Rodrigo shows up, it's usually in English because Rodrigo speaks like Portuguese is his first language, but he speaks Japanese and English as well. But a lot of times the guys I'm going against are Japanese, and so he'll speak English.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
Or if they're Brazilians, he'll speak English. You know, like
so what is it about? Sorry,
there's a lot of Brazilian during the tournaments here. It's going to be Japanese and Brazilians and Americans usually. There's some one-off foreigners all over the place, but there's actually a very large Brazilian population here too.
Oh yeah, especially in Hamamatsu with the Bonsai Gym and Satoshi Sosa. Like, yeah, it's like I think last I heard was like 70% of like the Bonsai Jiu-Jitsu membership is just Brazilians or people have some sort of Brazilian descent in them.
Yeah. Same out Gifu area too. Go ahead.
Oh, so I was gonna say, so what is it about jiu-jitsu that you like? Because listen, this is a very taxing sport. It is exhausting. We get injured. We get we get wins, we get losses. It's so much training for 8 minutes of competition, maybe more if there's it's a tournament. What is it about this sport that you just enjoy so much that you keep coming back and doing it over and over and over?
I mean, for me, it's the perfect sport for getting old and injured. Like I'm busted up, I'm broken in a few places, so it's the best way for me to like for cardio, flexibility. I mean, it's like forced yoga, and then, but the great thing about it,
down with dogs and taking people down, though.
Yeah. Hey, it depends what kind of yoga you're into, but for me, it's great because it's like if you don't like it, just tap. I don't have an ego about it. If somebody's gonna like, if I get submitted, I'm like, that was nice. Do it again. Like, let me show that to me again. Do it again. I dare you. Do it one more time. Like, there's a competitive spirit to it, but then like there's never been a time at any tournament where even like you just choke a guy out and then he wants to be your friend. Like the vibe of jiu-jitsu is pretty ridiculous everywhere you go. And never really had a bad experience. Whereas like for fights, people get amped up and they want to fight more. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, they're like, oh, that was awesome. They want to roll and they want to learn from each other, even though you just competed with them. Like just the mentality of it. And it's perfect for somebody that's old and broken, because once again, you don't like it. It's that. Like I hear it all the time of like, oh yeah, once I get in shape, I want to start it. I was like, dude, that's the wrong mentality. Like this is how you're going to get in shape.
Oh, it will get you in shape. That's why I always tell people,
Yeah.
no, don't. If you want to get in shape, jiu-jitsu will get you in shape. And then, once you get into the shape that you want to, then if you want anything extra after that, you can focus on. But jiu-jitsu can and will get you into shape.
Yeah, and then the balance too, just like when you knowing jiu-jitsu, like just for you too, like knowing jiu-jitsu the way you do now, and like somebody like talking trash at a party just wants to like, somebody not in a bad way, but like you just take them down and choke them out real fast, and they're like, okay, I got you. Yeah, that's what's up.
I got to ask, is there ever been a case like that? You're at a bar, or something,
Oh yeah.
and, someone is just, being an asshole, as part of my French, and you just, you're trying to be peacemaker, but then they're trying to be a tough guy, and you're like, okay, I have to ragdoll this guy, or I have to whatever. Has there been ever incidents like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, even here in Tokyo, there's been guys I've dropped like rear naked choke and dragged people out into the street and let them wake up in the street. So.
Oh my god! Hopefully we can keep those on the mat. Hopefully not so many underground jiu-jitsu
But
matches.
I don't know, dude. You're basically like, what is my motivator? What is keeping me going for what do I like about jiu-jitsu? And I like the fact that it's first off, the mentality among jiu-jitsu fighters is good. And then the fact that if you don't like it, you just tap and start over. Like, what's the worst? Oh no, you tap, you lost. Like, it's not, you get knocked out. Like, I'm not trying to get hit in the face anymore. That's what like, that's why I'm focused mostly on jiu-jitsu now, is because like I've pretty much healed pretty good. My nose has been straightened a few times. It still bends a little bit, but I'm not trying to get hit in the face anymore.
So I'm just so do you ever want to do MMA if like Rizin came to you? Because there was a time I don't know if Rizin's still going to do this with now that they can finally bring international people, but there for a time being they were bringing over the one type of Americans, foreigners they could bring in were people that were in the army or serving over in Japan. If Rizin ever came to you and was like, hey, Seth Sarrett, we want you to have an MMA match in heavyweight, would you ever consider the offer, or is it no more of getting punched in the face?
I don't know. Probably no. I mean, there's a few things I need to get some surgeries on before I want to go straight up into like a striking match, and I'd have to get back into it. I've been focused pretty much on just straight like sport jiu-jitsu for a while, so possibly it's not off the table.
Gotcha. What about a quintet type thing? Would you ever want to do like be a part of like a quintet team and do something like that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I definitely want to be part of that. I don't know if how much I'd not quite yet. I want to get skill level. I want to get to a better level. I feel like I might have let a team down.
Okay, well, you keep on saying a better level. Like, is it the fundamentals? Is there some aspect of jiu-jitsu that's just like doesn't click with you? Is there something like, or is just an overall, just an overall jiu-jitsu thing? So I'm a little bit curious.
I mean, there's guys that are better than me, and I get beat by them. I mean, for example, the names you're talking about, like the Breda Mabtouche, like rolling with him, like that dude would trash me, honestly. Igor Tanabe, that dude would just destroy me. Like I know because I've been around them and I've seen their levels, and then rolling with some of them just like in times on the mats that yeah, they're way better than me. I'm purple belt is my level now, and that's I'll take a brown when I'm ready for it. But those guys are way out of my league. And so quintets a lot of time are like usually black belt level. There's some color belts in there, but the guys are usually up and coming and young. And quintet does things by weight, so it's a total weight thing. And I'd probably weigh it like I'd love to do it. It'd be hell yeah, but I mean, I don't know if that'd be a realistic choice for for a team for that.
Oh no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And yeah, so after this match, is there any more jiu-jitsu competitions that you're doing or anything that you're looking to do in terms of the sport?
Yeah, there was another tournament like the Sunday directly following it, but I had to pull out of that one for work stuff. But the next one, I think April 9th is a big all Japan. It's a JBJJF, IBJJF, JBJJF tournament, and there's already I think like 20 something people and 21 people in the purple open bracket. So that'll be fun. That'll be probably. We'll see how many people sign up, but it might be like 5 matches to win that absolute. That's what I'll be. That's my next push is on April 9th.
Actually, a question as well. So with this match, with the art matches, if it's 0-0, do they do the thing at the end where the first takedown wins?
I don't know about art. So normally like the ASJJF rules are that way. So if you're tied, same, everything, like penalties, like advantages, everything.
Yes.
They'll go to sudden death, and it's the first points that wins.
Oh, okay. I think they do the same thing as well, because I was watching, because I've watched the past art matches and the ones that didn't have that they did that. I noticed they did have a bunch of matches like Mietz and Bogdanov and a few of the other matches. So I think probably the same thing as well. What do you think about that?
It's time for the Hail Mary double leg.
What do you think about that? Do you like that, or do you think it should go to referee decision or something?
No, I prefer the first 2 points.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not even like a Hail Mary, you could always, just do an inside judo trip or something, get them down,
but it's still, I've watched enough of those, and that, usually it's like just this, you got to go all out for it. It is, you have to take down, get the first points wins.
What are your thoughts on guard pullers? What do you think of people who pull guard immediately?
They annoy the shit out of me, but
that's what everybody says. It's always, I always love that question.
Because I don't know, you have it superimposed, but like Minoru Taniguchi, like he's a giant guard player, so like
yes,
hopefully he's listening, because it's like my next on Saturday, I'm hoping to like jump guard, like because he's pretty predictable. You can see their eyes and you know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to pull guard.
And you know what? Kind of think of it. That reminds me to ask. Let's just say your opponent somehow is getting somebody to translate this, thinking, what are these 3 Gaijins talking about? What are these 3 Americans talking about? Let's just say if y'all were to ever meet, I guess in this case, it wouldn't be face to face. It would be guard to guard in jiu-jitsu. I mean, if you were to ever meet up with him before this fight, what would be the main thing you would say to him?
Oh, that's fine. I mean, we've already competed twice. We competed last Sunday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, basically, y'all like weekend warriors or some shit, huh?
Yeah. So the first time we competed was 2 years ago in the blue belt division, and I submitted and I choked him out, and then this last Sunday I lost by points because I didn't finish the submission. I was going for submission, so as he'd roll out of it, he'd score points. And so I'd go for submission again, and he'd roll out of it, score points, and so it's perfect because it's 1-1, and hopefully build his confidence up. So
I'll say this: I watched some of his matches, and I saw this one match. It was again, I forgot the guy's name, but the guy was destroying him. It was a middleweight, or they said it was a middleweight match for the Asian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, and he was getting his ass. He was losing, but when the guy took his back, or when his opponent took Minoru's back, he locked in a foot lock. The guy made the mistake of crossing his feet while going for the rear naked, and Minoru managed to do
that was a Nogi match. I think one of the Ukrainian guys this morning was telling me about it.
Yeah, like I'll tell you this. Listen, he's a guy that's definitely, when he's on the losing books, he definitely doesn't give up. A lot of people tend to give up.
And he competes a lot. Like I see him at tournaments all the time, and he's purple now, but I was seeing him and when he was the blue still, and I was a purple, and The dude competes a lot.
And he also
So,
has he also competed for Zest. He did a kickboxing match as well. Maybe he's going to go into
okay.
MMA at some point, but no, yeah, he's competing in all facets of the sport. He's definitely jiu-jitsu is not just his one love. He's competing.
No, and he's a tough dude to submit. Like you'll hear him gasping forever, and like he won't tap out. Like so, to choke him, you really have to get locked in.
Oh, those are the worst because you're doing everything right, but because they're not giving in, you're almost wasting more energy trying to finish them than it affects your submission game as well. Because if you have a rear naked choke locked in on a guy and he's not tapping, your arms are if he doesn't go out, your arms will get tired. And your legs will
Yeah,
get tired if you got a body lock as well. Listen, those guys are some of the most frustrating to ever like compete against or
yeah.
roll with.
He doesn't have any quit in him. He's good to. I'm excited for this Saturday.
Yeah, like you probably roll with people, and you don't even have an arm bar like half in, and the guy will tap out, and but then there's others who like you bend the arm, and they're not giving up, and they're like those are the worst because it's like, do you break the guy's arm? Do you make this guy pass out? Oh, it's like the worst. Actually, I'm curious to know, has that ever happened before? Where have you ever been in a match and you had to like just crank on a submission, and then because someone would tap out and
Yeah,
crap.
there's a guy I went. He outweighed me by I think 15 kilograms. So he's a bigger Japanese guy, and he beat me by points like in the Hickson, like one of the Hickson Cups, like I think like 4 years ago. So I was like kind of nervous about his match, and then when we went into the match, like I had him in a triangle, but he was like basically postured up, and so then I went like Kimura, and he wouldn't tap, and so I just kept pushing the Kimura back. He wouldn't tap, and so then his shoulder I just dislocated his shoulder. It wasn't like he wouldn't tap. It's a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple of things where I've put people out before as well.
Oh yes, yeah, we talked to jujitsu fighters, and when everybody has a story where their opponent wouldn't give in, and yeah, it happens a lot. It happens way too much. I've seen it happen at tournaments as well. And here's the you can't. I won't even be watching the match. You'll just hear something. You'll just hear like a crack from across the room, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it happens all the time here as well. Um, I'm curious to know as well. Do you when things can open up a little more? Do you want to come back to the United States to do some competitions as well, Naga
Oh,
or
oh yeah. I mean, I go back and forth now as it is, so I
Oh,
will.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it was easy or hard given the restrictions that Japan has. And
It's different. So Japan is one of the countries that has a status of forces agreement, and so we can come in another country.
Hmm. And you
gotcha.
know what? That kind of reminds me to ask, when it comes to what COVID-19 has done to society for the last couple of years, do you think that it's been harder for you to try and get back and forth between Japan and the US just because of this?
Oh, any country. I mean, travel has been I it's made an obvious impact on everything and everybody in every country. So it's not just Japan or US or in between, it's everywhere.
Okay.
So some
oh,
Japan actually, to be honest, Japan and US have been some of like the most progressive as far as like testing and then being able to like, oh yeah, you need your PRC test here, 72 hours travel, boom, once you land test, good to go. There's other countries that are just straight lockdown. Like we try to work in and out of Thailand. There's times where like we're supposed to do it, like go there for work like January, and they just basically turned it down, said no. Some of the countries are straight lockdown.
oh,
Right.
is
Or
Thailand still under lockdown? I thought they had just opened up
No,
recently.
they're not now, but they've gone back and forth. I'm just saying over the last
Oh,
few, basically it was a general question
oh, okay,
that
gotcha.
Christian was asking basically general questions as far as traveling. So US and Japan have been some of the more progressive as far as being able to
Oh,
travel in and out.
well,
yeah, in the United States though, it all varies state by state, so to speak.
Yeah,
mm,
Florida, like, because I was in Florida like October, November, and it was like masks didn't exist. And then you go into DC and like people are still masking up.
mm-hmm. Same thing
Yeah,
with
that's
New York as
because
well.
Yeah.
yeah, that's because Florida, Texas, California, New York, as me and Andrew can attest to, they live by some pretty crazy but pretty shitty rules, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a house in Florida, and my concealed weapons permit and stuff is still Florida. I like their gun rules, and I like a lot of their laws.
What do you think about? Oh, sorry, Christian. We're about to ask you another question. I apologize.
I was basically saying, as long as you don't encounter any crazy ass Florida men.
Oh, Florida men or Florida women at this point. It's Florida anything, and Florida people, Florida persons.
Correct.
So I mean, what do you think about also like Japanese jiu-jitsu guys? I'm curious to know what your thoughts on people like Imanari, Aoki. What do you think about their jiu-jitsu as well? Do you watch videos of them? Is the leg lock thing interesting to you, or is it kind of just that traditional Gracie jiu-jitsu that you?
Oh no, I like it all. That's what I was saying about like the East Coast, going out there and like being exposed to that game. I dug it because it was something I didn't have, so I worked on it a lot. But yeah, some of those dudes have been like, that's what I'm saying. Like the level of jiu-jitsu in Tokyo is pretty high. Just like Aoki's fights for one championship, and like that dude still fights like full on, like, and those guys are all super good at what they do. I mean, there's a lot of the gyms here have some of those old school dudes are still part of their gyms and still run it. That's what they do. That's been their life.
Oh yeah, no. Before the whole pandemic, I was actually going to be going to Japan to do some training at Imanari's gym, and then yeah, shit happens, and no, that's why I'm hoping Japan can open up again, so I can finally do my training at Imanari's dojo.
Yeah. Well, even now though, like even if you live here, if you're not like a member of the gym, you can't just go visit. Like, because I used to drop in at a few different gyms, and a lot of them now don't allow it.
Oh, so it's only members now? Is that a COVID thing, kind of?
Yeah, some of them. Our gyms are not. Our gyms are good. So.
Okay. Well, actually, that's actually good to know in case if I ever go back and have to deal with that. I really hope I don't have to deal with that. But
yeah, if you come, let me know. You can go to bring it to the Axis gym.
Okay, and you said that's a set of Gaia, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think when did I ever go to Seta? I know I went to Seta Gaia once. Is that where Toho Studios is? Is that where
I don't know. The only gym I go to is Axis.
Okay, I'm trying to. I definitely know I went to Seta Gaia at one point when I visited Tokyo. I can't remember what it was for, but yeah, Seta Gaia is from my memory is a great place. Listen, I prefer Shibuya and Shinjuku. Those are my neighborhoods I always hang out in. Yeah, no, all Tokyo is great in case if anybody ever wants to go travel in Tokyo. Do you miss well, you come back here. Do you miss living in the United States at all?
No, I mean I've been all over, so I'm happy wherever I'm at.
Was there anything that was really hard to get adjusted to when you finally got stationed in Japan? Was there something, I don't know, culturally
No,
or
not really. I mean, I lived, like I said, I lived in Hawaii a lot of my life, and then first time I came to Japan, I was 18. So I've been coming off and on here since 90, what is it, 96?
Oh my God. You must have seen Japan go through so many changes in your time there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then as far as like just recently, and then like been here for coming up on 6 years. But like as far as the COVID thing and everything, Japan, in my opinion, has been probably one of the best places to be. Because as far as like masks, like there was 25% of the people were wearing masks anyway already.
Yeah.
And then they're pretty good at following rules. And so as far as like, all right, everybody must wear a mask. The Japanese are like, okay. Like that's not everybody still wears a mask. There's out of like 300 people on a train, there may be one person without it. Maybe. And most likely, everybody has a mask on here all day long, every day.
Oh yeah,
So
I have friends in Japan, and they'll be outside, like outside, just in general, not like in a subway, not in a restaurant, and they'll be wearing their mask everywhere. And it's definitely yeah. As soon as they were told to put on a mask, The mask went on, and they didn't have to. They didn't have to like go to the store to buy one. They already had masks from previous times when they were sick, or all that stuff. It wasn't like here where it was at first a nuisance to try to find one.
Yeah, well, it was kind of here too for a while. Like a lot of the drugstores were out of them.
Oh, really?
But,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the people in the past mostly wore them like if they had a cold, they weren't
Yes.
trying to spread it.
Yes. Oh, that's the one thing I wish, when people say, people in Japan wear a mask, that's the one thing is that I have to always correct them. It's not because whatever, it's because they were sick and they had to go to work because everybody in Japan works till they're basically dead for 60 hours a week, whatever it is. So there's
some of them do. Yeah.
Yeah. And they wear a mask there because they are sick, but they still have to work. So it's not, it's I know that's the misconception of mask wearing here about what here and how they do in Japan. That's like one thing I gotta correct people on, that people are sick when they wear the masks there.
There's both though. I mean, there's people that wear them out of paranoia, but then the majority of people that wore them prior to COVID were they're wearing them because they had a cold.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was a social norm. You got sick, just wear a mask so you don't spread it.
Were you did you I'm curious to know as well, when the Olympics came to Tokyo last year, did you watch, or I don't think there was no audience, so you couldn't go see them. So
No, I mean, so even though I like live pretty close to some of the venues, you wouldn't even know it. There'd be athletes there, and the only thing you'd see is like maybe a bus out front or something, but like there wasn't people, there wasn't anything. And I watched them on TV. That's
okay. So this show will be your match will be taken at the Gen Sports Palace, excuse me. I think that's where they generally have jiu-jitsu matches, and I think Quintet has their things there as well in Japan, I think, if I'm correct.
I don't think so. It's like an old burnout like K1 gym, and then it was just one of the venues that like I said, that Kagura, the Edison, was able to find for the fights. But like last Sunday was at Sumida Budokan.
Oh, okay.
That's a great one because it has like elevated stage for the matches. And that one's actually pretty cool because it's not like all in one big flat mat. Each mat is separated by each one is elevated. So if each particular match is taking place on its own mat. You're not rolling over into somebody's other square.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, I got what you're saying. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. None of that is like, I've been to Nagas, I've been to grapplers class, I've been to so many, like none of that, like there's nothing blocking you from rolling into the match from mat 1 to mat 2.
Yeah, and then a lot of them are like that here too, but that it's not. So like Sumida Budokan is one of the big places. The one on April 9th is at Tokyo Budokan. And that's like a pretty famous.
Nippon Budokan. The Nippon Budokan? Yeah. Oh, yes, we definitely know that. Chris, New Japan, Noah.
Really know Nippon Budokan.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big venue. That's all the way up here when it comes to like Tokyo venues.
You might correct me. It might correct me because I think there's one. I have to look it up online because there's actually two. There's one that's like the new Tokyo Budokan.
Oh yeah, there's two of them. There's the Nippon Budokan, and then there's there's another one as well. So it could be at the not the Nippon Budokan. It could be at the one you just mentioned. It's the smaller one. I think it'll probably be at the smaller one. I couldn't see a jiu-jitsu tournament going on at Nippon Budokan.
They've had them there before.
Yeah. Oh, they have. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, so you know how a lot of those places, you walk in and there may be 4 or 5 different arenas in one arena.
Oh yes, yeah. What is it? Yeah. Where's
this one? So this next one on April 9th is at the Tokyo Budokan, which is Ayase in Adachi.
Okay.
So it's not the Nippon. The one you're thinking of, Nippon one, is the one that's pretty close to like
that temple. There's a temple that's like
the Emperor's Palace.
Yes.
Yes, by the Emperor's Palace.
That's that's near. Oh, that's I think that's also near Umeno Park, if I'm correct. Is that Umeno Park or is that the
Ueno.
Ueno?
Ueno
Yes.
is not far.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Ginza's not far from there. It's right. Chiyoda Park is right. So that one's the one that's like you can see it. It's real close to the palace. Right?
Okay. That's one. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So it's at the other Nippon, the other,
So that's the
Budokan.
Nippon. Yeah, the Tokyo Budokan is, let's see, it's on the other side of the river. Like, so it's kind of near Adachi. I don't know if
Adachi,
you know where
yes.
it's at.
Yes. I know Adachi. Yeah, definitely know Adachi. But I mean, so yes, Seth, you got your match coming up. I'm curious to know as well. Before we head out, and do you have anything that you want to say in Japanese or English to people who are going to be tuning into this thing? Might be seeing you for the first time. And as well, we want to give you an opportunity if anybody you want to give a shout out to, your gym, coaches. I don't know if you have any sponsors as well, or
Also, we don't even know if you have any social media platforms. I mean,
if you want,
you look like the type of guy. You look like the type of guy that don't really do social media much for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Well, no, I do, but it just I keep it minor. I like the competition, but yeah, I guess shout out to be like to Day by Day Jiu-Jitsu because they hooked me up with the gis. And yeah, like under Axis, Rodrigo Taniguchi, all the guys I train with is it's a good place to be. I don't really have any. I'll let you know when I start high signing and get invited to more matches, and I'll have my speech of my shout outs like dialed in.
Okay. And also, just to let everybody know, I thought this show would be on a different platform. It's going to be on PTix. That's the platform I have, PEATIX, and they actually have an app that you can watch the shows on. So yeah, for people that are gonna tune in and see Seth Sarrett versus Taniguchi, ptix.com, or download the app on your Android, iPhone, whatever, and it'll be Art Challenge 1, not the
Yeah,
second one.
It's pay-per-view, but if you know me, just let me know after. I'll send you the video.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, well, there will be I didn't know this for the first art thing. There will be there's like a 16, like you can't, it's not, you don't have it forever. So because you could only watch it for like a certain amount, they'll be available for only a certain amount of days. I made that first mistake, and I missed the second art show when I bought it, and I couldn't watch it again. So try to watch it as fast as you can or live if you can. And that'll be March 26th. When do you know when your fight goes up or when your match goes up, or is it kind of just?
No, I don't know the order. I mean, I think they start at like 10 a.m., but I don't know the order. There's quite a few people signed up now.
Okay.
Because if you look under ASJJF, and you open up that art one, like the blue one is the one where it's like, it's the amateurs, not the invite. The yellow one's the invite. And so now there's some kid matches, there's some female matches, there's a bunch of matches in that blue one now.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to some kids choking each other out. If you want to see.
No, we don't need to see that. Let's be real.
There's some savage little kids. You'd be surprised, man. They're pretty good.
Hey, listen, they teach judo in high school and I think middle school is primary school in Japanese schools.
Yeah.
Listen,
judo's a regular elective here. Yeah, it's a regular sport.
Listen, you can't have judo in America. Listen, you can't even have dodgeball here anymore. So listen, they're starting
to call people names. Yeah,
yeah. So listen, these kids are starting early, and you never know if you're seeing the next or Igor Tanabe or Yeri or Imanari. So yeah, watching those kids is you never know which one's gonna be the next big one. But Seth, man, we really appreciate you taking your time to talk to us, man. And we're really looking forward to your match, to seeing you on a big stage. This is not regional locked. Everybody can tune in and watch and see you. So yeah, man, wishing you the best in your upcoming match. And hopefully, yeah, you could go on to bigger and better things in jiu-jitsu, get invites, and maybe down the line, we'll see, maybe you'll be in ADCC at some point, the pinnacle of jiu-jitsu.
Right? Yeah, and that one's always pretty good. I've been watching a lot of those. I'm looking forward to this one coming up in September.
And Seth, is there anything that you would basically like to say to your fans before we close things out? Be it in English or Japanese, by the way.
if I have a fan, like right on, man, I'll have a ticket open for you on Saturday. Come those fights. Yeah. No, I don't have anything. It's been all good. Thank you
Well,
guys for talking to me.
even if you don't have any fans now, you may get fans after this. I'll tell you this: someone at our jiu-jitsu gym had 2 fans waiting outside of his thing after he did an Emerald City Invitational. And yeah, listen, you never know what's going to happen after this. Your match could go viral for any reason. So hey,
Yeah, we'll see. If I get choked out, then we'll see what people think of me after that.
but no, I'm really looking forward
Won't
to it.
make much of maybe it won't make much of a dent on American social media, but it'll definitely make waves on Japanese social media.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Good times though. No, like I said, appreciate you guys taking the time.
No problem,
No.
man. And thank you for your service as well, sir.
Yeah, right on. Thank you.